Hi everyone, it's Leona with Leona's Designs, and I just wanted to let you know about a new weekly Slow Stitch 2024 project. I'm hoping to participate in this all year. It's hosted by K3N Cloth Tales. She has a YouTube channel, and her hashtag is Slow Stitch with K3N. And week one, she posted a video where she did cloth weaving. And that's what I'm going to show you today as I prepare to participate in week one. Her week one project was weaving with cloth, and her word was community. And the meaning behind that was, in a community we weave different people together, and so that is the meaning behind weaving these different pieces of cloth together. We're forming a community. And she has a little story behind that, and I will link her video below if you would like to go watch her. But I'm just going to try to follow her instructions as best as I can. Since I'm a beginner, I'm new to this, and I've never done cloth weaving before, but I did cut out my little 4 by 4 inch piece of muslin, which I'm going to attach these strips of pieces of cloth to. And she was planning to sew or glue her pieces each week into a little book. And I have this blank journal that I'm gonna probably do that with also. When my finished piece is done each week, I will put it in this journal and write what it was and how I was inspired by it, and the little story that maybe comes from my work doing this. So that's just an idea for you if you want to follow along with this project on K3N Cloth Tales. Hopefully it's going to be a weekly project, and hopefully it's going to be a lot of fun. So I'm going to start out with how she showed us to put these fabric strips down. I chose the color blue because to me January is a blue color. Blue is a cold color, and January to me, where I've lived, has always been cold. So that's why I'm choosing blue. But if you want to do this and you live somewhere where it's warm, or you want to choose a different color, you certainly can. There isn't any rules to this other than cutting the strips and weaving them together. You can choose whatever size you want to do. I chose 4 by 4, but you can choose bigger or smaller. And I'm combining prints and solids for my piece. What she did with hers was I believe she cut 5 strips vertical. And then sewed them down at the top, and then weaved in the horizontal strips. So that's what I'm planning to do. And these end pieces can always be trimmed off later. I'm just going to leave that one down like that. And then I'm going to pin these, and then I will sew them down. And what I'm going to use to sew is just some white thread, white sewing thread. It's not embroidered floss, but that's my choice. If you want to do this project and you want to use something else, you certainly can. So this is the beginning. I have 5 vertical strips that I'm going to sew down at the top. And I have a needle here threaded with white thread. So I'm just going to go across the top here with some straight stitches, just to sew everything down. And I think, as usual, I got my thread a little too long. I guess as a beginner, I always worry that I'm going to be in the middle of a project and I'm going to run out of thread. So I always thread my needle a little bit too long, which makes for kind of uncomfortable sewing in the beginning. But I guess that's just something you learn as you go along. Oops. My thread's catching on my scissors. So I'm going to continue sewing across the top here, and then I will be back to show you the rest. Okay, I'm back, and I've got them all sewed down at the top, and I pressed them down. So now I need to start weaving in the horizontal strips. So the way she showed it was she had 5 vertical strips, and she lifted 3 of them all the way to the top. And then laid the first piece, the first horizontal piece down, which, let's see, which one do I want to use? I'm going to use this. Strip of this. Cut it in half. And then we'll lay it right down, right up to the edge of these ones that are laid back. And she laid them back down and then continued weaving. And then at the end she pinned everything together and stitched it. But I was thinking, I'm not very good with stitching with pins in, and so I was thinking maybe I would try to stitch this down now as I go. Stitch it down and then lay those back down and then do my next strip. So I'm going to pin this down right now. Not sure if this will work, but I'm hoping it will. And then I'm going to take my needle and just stitch across, stitch the strip down. Just a few stitches. Hold it down. And then I won't have to put a whole bunch of pins in. Which makes sense to me right now, but we'll see how it goes. Not sure if it'll work, but I hope it will. Take this out right now. Leave that. I better tie it down. Okay. Now we can lay these down. The pins out, and then we will lift up these next two right up to where I stitched that horizontal strip down. And then put another strip down. I'll use this one. And I'm putting it right up to where these two are folded up. And I'm going to pin that down and stitch it down. Pin it here first. And I think it's going to work. Probably would be better if I just did straight stitches. I think I'm going to run out of thread. Maybe not. Gotta get my strip down here. It's gonna go underneath. There we go. trying to keep my stitches even, but I don't always succeed. That's the beauty of slow stitching. Don't have to be perfect. Okay, so we got that. Can bring these back down. And that one's puckered a little bit. So I'm not sure if this idea is a good one. But since I started it, I guess I gotta finish. I'm gonna have to thread my needle again. So our next plan would be to lift up these 3 again. Up to where the last strip was laid down, and then to lay another strip across. I think I can get 2 more strips on there. I'll use this. A thinner piece. Here's a thin piece. That should be perfect. Pin that down. And then I will rethread my needle. And I won't make you watch that because sometimes it takes me a while. Okay, I'm back. What I did was I rethreaded my needle and I just went ahead and stitched on those last 2 strips. So now we need to trim, and then can go back and decide how I want to embellish it. So I'm just going to trim off the sides here. Everything's stitched down, so I don't have to worry about it moving. I'm just going to trim it to the edge of this muslin piece. And then we'll see what we got. Okay. Save these little scraps. I'm trying to figure out what to do with them. I save all my threadlings. Some people call them orts. But I decided to save these little bits and pieces of material too. I'm going to try to figure out something to do with them. Okay, so now we've got this. Oh, that's got to go up there. I guess that didn't get stitched down like it should have. Is that the side? Oh, I guess it's the bottom. Okay, just need to trim that off. Okay. going to take my little iron and I'm going to press this down. I guess if you didn't want to stitch like I did and have your stitches showing at the end, you could baste it and just take your basting stitches out now. But for me, it doesn't matter. I'm going to leave them in. So I think it just adds to it. I like how it turned out. And I think what I'm going to do is just go in and do just a few decorative stitches in there on each little square. Maybe some French knots in the dots and some circles. Just a few seed stitches. Maybe add a few buttons. Maybe a little bit of lace. Just embellish it and just let it talk to me and tell me what it wants. So I'm going to get my materials ready and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back and decided I found these 3 little buttons. I was going to add to it. It's a little flower, a heart, and a butterfly, which to me signifies the hope of spring with the butterfly and the flower, and the heart signifies thinking about Valentine's Day. Even though we're in the middle of the cold January winter, we still have the hope of spring and the joy of Valentine's Day. So those buttons are going to represent that. And I'm just going to do a few little stitches here and there just to add interest. And hold everything down. So I hope you enjoyed watching this. I hope I inspired you to maybe try it and see what you can come up with. And I hope to see you again next month, or not next month, next week, for week 2 of K3N Cloth Tales Slow Stitch with K3N. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day.